Yo, what's up? It's 4th of November. I took one trade and I wanted to take another trade, and both were losses. First one was a loss. Second one, I wanted to take it, but I couldn't. And I want to talk about why I took these trades and what I could have done better. So this is how the high time frame chart looked at 9:30. We have this clear displacement going down, and there was this big bearish fair value gap, and we obviously have a bearish order flow. So I was expecting two scenarios. Either we come up here, balance, fill this fair value gap, and then we keep going down, or we just straight up start going down as soon as the market opens. But I didn't know which scenario was gonna play out, so I jumped into the lower time frame. I was looking for a reason as to why price doesn't need to come up here, because I was sure at market open we might just start going down right away without retracing up. So if price doesn't need to come up here, what I need to see happen for us to start hunting these low sell side liquidities is we need some sort of retracement. And I saw a retracement from this range over here. Boom. There's a little small uptick candle over here, and I can draw an equilibrium from there until the lowest point. And I saw that we already hit the equilibrium, and we have a little SMT over here as well. So I thought, okay, we already retraced to an equilibrium, so we don't need to retrace to this 4-hour fair value gap. So it meant that all I needed to see now was a break of structure down, and then we enter on the fair value gap that is created on the break of structure, and then we target all of the sell side. And that's what exactly happens at 9:30. This is 9:30 over here, and we have our break of structure line here. So we need price to start displacing below this. So market opens, we immediately break it. So now I'm thinking, okay, the move is starting now. So I need to find a short entry. So I'm looking for a fair value gap, right? So this candle closes, and we have a 15-second fair value gap over here. And I see this now. All I need is an SMT to put my stop loss. And I saw an SMT over here on ES. We took this high, but we did not take that high on NQ. So now I have everything. I have the high time frame order flow aligning with my low time frame trade. High time frame order flow is bearish, and low time frame order flow is also shifting bearish now. So now that I have my entry and I have my SMT to put my stop loss at, that's all I need. So this is an A+ quality trade for me, and I would target the nearest high time frame sell side. So this was the trade. So I get tapped in over here, and I was pretty confident this trade was gonna play out, but what ended up happening was I got stopped out. So I'm thinking, okay, price action is pretty choppy right now, but the high time frame model is still the same model. This is just my entry that got stopped out. So I keep waiting, see if anything else works out. And I see we are starting to displace even stronger now. And look what happened over here. This high is not taken, but NQ's high, that same high was taken. So this move was meant to manipulate and stop out all of the early shorts. So now I'm thinking, okay, this trade setup just got even better because we have our final manipulation in. Right? So now I'm looking for an entry again because my target is still the same low. It's not taken yet. So what do I look for now? I wait for a retracement, preferably back to an equilibrium or a fair value gap. So now I'm looking for a retracement back to the equilibrium, but mainly I am looking for an entry on this fair value gap because I do not expect us to close above the fair value gap just to get to the equilibrium. And then we touch the fair value gap finally. This would be my entry. Now this would be my entry because I have noticed an SMT on these two candles right here. It's a very small SMT because it's only two candles. But this high is not taken on NQ, whereas that same two candles, the high is taken on ES. So if that's an SMT, that's where I could put my stop loss at. So I put my stop loss over there. And I took this trade because the risk to reward ratio is still above 2. So this is still a worth it trade to take to risk my money. So I did not take this trade because I wasn't able to take this trade because my broker had issues. But I would have 100% entered over here. And And what ended up happening was we got stopped out again. So now I'm stopped out on both trades that I thought was A plus. And now I'm just left thinking, what's going on? This first trade, I risked my full size, which is $750. But as soon as we started going up, my trailing drawdown got triggered. So my prop firm account was immediately blown. So I only ended up losing around 400 because my account got stopped out. So my account got blown here. So that's why I couldn't take this trade, because my account was gone. So even though I only took a half loss here and I took a full, so even though I only took a half loss here and I didn't even take this trade, I still know I would have taken it if everything was working perfectly fine. So in total, across these two trades, I would have lost $1,500, which is pretty painful. But I have long-term experience knowing that this trade setup works more times than it fails. And as long as my risk to reward ratios are higher than 2, like 3.3 over here, 2.3 over here, one of these times it's gonna be a winner. And when it is a winner, it's gonna outweigh all the losses. So 2 losses in a row, especially on the same session, is very tough to handle. And I honestly think I shouldn't have gone for a second trade, because that's actually one of my rules, is to just take one loss and then just step away no matter how good the second trade looks. And this day I kind of broke that rule. So I'm gonna have to keep that in mind moving forward. But other than that, I think it's an A plus trade, because it all depends on the high time frame volatility. It all depends on the high time frame order flow, right? Look at this. Like, we have a high time frame breakout structure. We have high time frame bearish fair value gaps. So obviously everything was pointing down. So it only makes sense to take a trade going down. And what ended up happening later in the day was this big ass 4-hour fair value gap actually got filled. And then it started going down. So ultimately, I could have been more patient and waited for price to come up to the 4-hour fair value gap. But that was not at 9:30. That was it started going down around 10:45, 11. So it was out of my trading range, and I kind of made myself believe there was a trade over here when it would have been better to take a trade inside the 4-hour fair value gap. I just kind of convinced myself, right, that there was an equilibrium over here. But this is not a good sell. If I normally draw an equilibrium, I would draw it from here, from that swing high to that swing low. But this is kind of a confirmation bias. I'm trying to see things that are not there, right? This is not a swing high. This is just a single white candle. It's not a swing high. This is a swing high. I could draw an equilibrium. I could draw an equilibrium from here, but I cannot draw an equilibrium from here. So I guess I was just kind of itching to take a trade, because I haven't taken a trade in, like, I don't know, in over a month. So I made 2 mistakes today. I kind of created a setup that wasn't there. I invented a good quality trade in my mind, whereas this was the good quality trade, not over here, but over here. So that's my first mistake. And the second mistake was taking the second trade, because I tell myself I should not take the second trade, and I broke my personal rule there. So going forward, I'll keep these 2 things in mind, and that's about it. By the way, I just started a new eval account, because when I took this trade, that's when my last account got blown. This was the trade I took, minus $400. The balance was left at $49,392. And because of trailing drawdown, my account got blown right there. And this is the execution, same trade, same fair value gap. Entered short here, and then it started going up, got stopped out, got my account blown. So I have a new 50,000 account. So it will be a fresh start, hoping I would do better this time, hoping I would actually pass it this time. That's about it. Peace.